Shalom. Call lawyer Wakaba La Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations unto the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. Scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Now I just wanted to do a little slight response to this little debate in which Sa Netter had Jabari, going up against Captain Tazaryach, in which I wouldn't even bother. It's a waste of time. All these years, and how many of these dudes have Tazaryach and the ISUPK, Captain Katazar, whoever, how many dudes in this community have they converted? All right. We know what happened with that one chick. She called herself Empress something. She claimed to be a Israelite. She went to the ISUPK after claiming that Kemet crap. And next thing you know, you don't hear a peep. You don't even hear nothing about that lady. So, like I said, what's the point? But we understand. As long as they rub elbows with these guys, they get all the attention that they need. The clout. They're not really in this thing to serve Yahweh Shem Yahushai and feed the sheep. It's all about entertainment. Forwarding their brand. All right, and the Most High just gonna do away with Jake, man. And when you look at what they're actually talking about, is let you know that this whole black conscious thing is a joke and it's fading out. That's why they gotta bring the Hebrews into it, because the Hebrew thing gives life unto this whole movement. Same with these Christians, vocab, they all gotta talk about us or somehow, have us involved. You gotta debate a Hebrew, have a discussion with them, because without us, nobody would be talking about you. Nobody would be watching your platforms like that. We're in a time of, dire straits. It's about to be damn near civil unrest in the country. It can possibly spark off a civil war because of the economic hardship. With the inflation, the fuel prices surging, your food supply is being destroyed purposely. They're talking about power outages right in the smack dead in the middle of the summer where it's hot in the midst of a damn drought. These troublous times we coming into, and these niggas want to talk about what? Can black women disrespect black men and we say nothing? So that's a debate. So, this whole thing is a joke, man. We know the scriptures say not to be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. All right. But what fellowship do righteousness have with unrighteousness? But we know Tazaryach and ISUPK, them dudes ain't right themselves. So, this is the perfect fit. But anyway, what I want to do is I'll play a little snippet of this where you're gonna see a so-called black woman come up, and it was funny, but it was embarrassing at the same time to see, what our women has become reduced to in this wicked cesspool, Babylon. Our women are a bunch of whores. And the prophecy said that would happen. So let's play it real quick. And then we're gonna fast forward, because I saw Netta hit Tazaryach with that question about Prophet Hosea, and whether that did the Lord really have Hosea get with an actual harlot and marry her and have two children with her. And you're gonna hear Tazaryach's response showing you that dude is very limited in the understanding of these scriptures. So let's play this real quick.
And then I see the brother with the stick, your security on the side with the stick. He got a stick? Yeah, he got a stick. Oh, Hit somebody with a stick. Yeah, you know, a Tomahawk stick person.
I know that
I'm working right now.
did work.
$100 or more.
God damn. You fucking mic. Say that again.
ZoeRalston.com. Please come on my website. I'm working. Yes, it's $100 for services, $50 each part. Let me know. ZoeRalston.com. Please come on my website. I'm working. Yes, it's $100 for services, $50 each part.
Look at our women, man. That right there, that's a damn freaking shame, man. See, these other nations can look upon us, just by looking at our women, because she's a reflection. She's of the essence of the condition of our people, man. Just look at our women. All right, now, it's a blessing that we got sisters that are actually, turned back and no longer represent in that way. If they ever did, but you still got these women out there. Now we know the law says there shall be no whore of the daughter of Israel, but that's our nation is filled with them, and they have no shame whatsoever. This is how they out there walking around. All right, no shame at all whatsoever. So when these nations look upon us, like it says in was that Lamentations 2:15. Let's go there real quick. This is a freaking shame. No more class. No shamefacedness, no humility. We came a long way, man. We became very degenerate. Lamentations 2 verse 15, it says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee, they hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All thy enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we looked for. We have found, we have seen it. And it makes their day, when they see our women like that, man. Because it shows signs of defeat, that we've been a defeated nation, since we've been brought over here. Very downtrodden. She walking around with her breast out, piercings all over the place, gone. And all Jay can do, instead of, shame this woman and rebuke her, tell her to have some dignity and put some damn clothes on and repent of that harlot lifestyle. They lusting after her. Oh, damn. So, but it's the same community that say she's God. What a freaking joke. So anyway, let's let it play, and then I'm gonna actually skip forward to Tazaryach.
Let me know.
I'm glad I did not see none of it, thank the Lord. And y'all say the black woman is God.
And that's a joke. That's why they find it funny. That's a freaking joke, man. They don't believe that bullshit. That's all been a ploy, to try to get women, man, to get between their legs, man, telling them what they want to hear. All right, they don't believe that shit. But anyway, skipping over, we're gonna go to maybe the 15-minute mark, because this is when Sonetter actually decides to blow some smoke towards Tazaryach, with a question. Let's go real quick. 15 minutes.
You have done. Thank you. I appreciate that. What I know is that the only I'm about to tell you.
Let's hear it.
So now, in front of the camp, we're talking about, I think most of the brothers right now have been talking about homosexuality and how it plagues us, and how a lot of it stems from child molestation, being raped. I would have asked her, who made her think like that? What was her childhood like? Those are the things that I would have said to her. Now, why would she have stayed? Because the camera was on her. The camera would have been my friend, because as I'm talking to her, she thinks the camera is her friend, because that's why she stopped, because the camera. So now with the camera there,
because you ain't see her.
now you change it. Now you add in another what if.
But you didn't see her. What if she was African?
As a sister, I'm glad Jabari's here, because I could talk to Jabari. I'm going to ignore you now, because you make absolutely no sense. So now, that's what we would have done if she was in front of here. Now, let's say if she would have walked away and not wanted to hear us, at least we tried at that point. Y'all didn't even try
let's
gear up.
The responsibility here, the responsibility
is ours. Right, so now if you think about Jabari, you was talking about the killings, right? And before she took that mic, I was saying that where we're at, and I even said, whether you follow Jabari's Kemetic belief or my Israelite belief, a lot of brothers and sisters are kind of waking up out of that very thought process. And so it's our job to arm, like the way that...
Skip
oh, yeah.
That, you know what I mean, prostitution...
We were stunned. I honestly, all of us were startled.
Reggie in the shot.
I honestly feel these two are going to be at it. And I'm in the middle. Do you see how this happened to me, family? I'm just saying, we have a lot that ails us. Now, let me... Pasties on. She had pasties on. And a dress. And a short skirt. A short skirt. Everything was exposed. Now, here's the deal. Right. Here's the deal.
None of that woman's frontal attire. I did not hear nothing that she said. Prove you wrong. Wait, now I'm gonna prove you wrong. 3 weeks ago, we was in front of Harlem. Shema Wallace standing right here. And she started speaking. It's on YouTube right now. Now, what the... If that was because, let me tell you something, that would have been the most excellent teaching opportunity.
But it didn't happen.
Because you didn't let it happen. You let her walk away.
It's not that
you did.
We did not let it happen.
You let her walk away.
But you know what? This is all about community.
But
wait. Let me say something I think. And mostly when I see women come, do you think I expected to bleed onto your screen? She did have a bag. You're right.
The Most High. You know this. Yeah.
Here we go.
No problem.
All right. Took me a while, but here it is. I didn't know the exact duration mark, but now here we go.
A prostitute. We talked about it yesterday. Don't act like that. Remember.
Now, here's the deal. Right. Here's the deal.
Let me tell you.
Go ahead.
You know why I gave him the mic? I gave her the mic just like your Jesus gave her the mic. Remember? Yahweh, he told one of your prophets to marry that whore in the Bible, and he married the whore, a prostitute. We talked about it yesterday. Don't act like that. Remember, the Most High. You know this. Yeah. Get it right.
No problem. So now, when you read Hosea, the first chapter, it's not a literal woman. It's a metaphor.
Go with this again.
When you read, all you got to do is read chapter 1.
Y'all hear this, fool? So it was just a magical. It was just a figment of Hosea's imagination, and the Lord calls a woman, in his imagination, to come to him, so he can lie with her and have 2 imaginary children. That would be symbolic for the nation of Israel. This is what Tazaryach is actually saying, that the Lord didn't literally tell Hosea to go to a woman of whoredoms and to lay with her. So you see that this dude Tazaryach, and he's always done this. He's a very emotional dude. All right, when it comes down to stand firm, kick your feet down and stand upon the law of the Most High, because all the laws of the Most High, all his judgments are righteous. There's nothing wrong with it. All right, but because he still has a mind frame of this world, he can't really stand upon it. So this is how he has to spin it. So let me run it back real quick and let you hear him again.
The Most High, the Most High. You know this. Yeah, get it right.
No problem. So now, when you read Hosea,
And Sarnetta, he don't understand why the Lord told Hosea to do what he did. He just, knowing how this dude is, he got to sell his content, and he always got to point out certain things in the scriptures that can cause controversy if you don't fully understand, the position or the context. So he's that type of dude. Oh, look, your Bible says this or your Bible says that, without fully going into the complete understanding. See, that's one thing. When you read these scriptures, let's go to Proverbs 3:5, and it says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding." And then let's also get 4:7, and it says, "Wisdom is the principal thing; therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting get understanding." So you got to understand, all right, why certain things occurred, why the Lord did the things that He did. All right, and Tazaryach is partially right when it concerns Hosea going to a woman of whoredoms. Yeah, it was symbolic, but it did literally happen. All right, but it was just to illustrate how Israel was playing the whore to the Most High. So the Lord instructed him to actually do that. So let's hear him break it down, and then we're gonna go right into the scriptures. All right, because by his logic, the instructions that he gave Isaiah, Ezekiel, several other prophets, maybe those things did not literally happen. So I'm gonna point that out. So let's listen.
the first chapter is not a literal woman, it's a metaphor. When you read, all you got to do is read chapter 1 and chapter 2. It's about the children of Judah and the children of Israel, meaning the northern kingdom and southern kingdom. You get the same thing in Ezekiel, the 16th chapter, when it talks about the two sisters, Aholah and Aholabah. It's a parable. That's all it is.
What did Christ say about the whore?
What whore?
When he said she gets more what?
I don't know what you're talking
You know
about.
what I'm talking about? Paraphrasing when he came.
Okay, so Hosea 1 is a parable according to Tazaryach. When the Lord told him to go get with a woman of whoredoms, this is just a parable, right? So Hosea really didn't have a real wife, and he never had any children. Hosea 1 verse 1, and the word of the Lord that came unto Hosea the son of Beeri in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel. The beginning of the word of the Lord by Hosea. And the Lord said to Hosea, Go, take unto thee a wife of whoredoms and children of whoredoms, for the land have committed great whoredom, departing from the Lord. So he went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim. So this is an imaginary person, and even though it lists that she actually has a father, this is all imaginary. This is all just parabolic. So Gomer didn't exist, and Diblaim, all right, did not exist, all right? According to Tazaryach, according to his understanding, which conceived and bare him a son, and the Lord called his name Jezreel, which is I believe is Yazariah Allah. All right, I believe it means seed of the power. Let me look it up. And you got Zarai, which means seed, and then you have Allah, which is power. All right, so seed of God. So let's go back. So apparently this son is also parabolic. He's not a real son of Hosea. It says, "For yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Jezreel upon the house of Jehu, and will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel. And it shall come to pass at that day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel. And she conceived again and bare a daughter. And the Most High Power said unto him, Call her name Laruamah, for I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them away." All right. And then he also had Lo Ami. All right. This is literal, even though this is meant to be, you know, metaphoric for Israel's whoredom and how the Lord was going to take the mercy away from them and basically cast them out, you know, with a bill of divorcement. And that's why, you know, the Assyrians came and captured the northern tribes and took them out. And then eventually Judah got captured and carried out by the Babylonians. All right. So it was all foreshadowing that. But the Lord gave him the specific instruction to do so. All right. So Tazaryach, he just, you know, he put his own interpretation into it. That was basically his exegesis. And it was totally inaccurate. Because by his same logic, Isaiah never walked around for 3 years bare, even though the Lord instructed him to do it. This is Isaiah 20 and verse 1. It says, "In the year that Tartan came unto Ashdod, when Sargon the king of Assyria sent him and fought against Ashdod and took it, at the same Salakia, at the same time spake the Lord by Isaiah the son of Amos, saying, Go and loose the sackcloth from off thy loins, and put off thy shoe from thy foot. And he did so, walking naked and barefoot." So, according to Zaryak, you know, this would have been also just symbolic, and it wasn't literal. It never happened. All right. And the Lord said, "Like as my servant Isaiah have walked naked and barefoot." Now, Netter would have, he read this and he probably stopped there. He'd be like, "Yo, what's up with your God telling, you know, prophet Isaiah to walk around butt naked? Tell me about that, family. What's going on? You know, we need to get understanding, family." You know, like without actually getting the context and the history and why the Lord instructed him to do what he did. And when you read further on, it's going to tell you why the Lord is instructing him to do what he did. And also the Lord, you know, when the Lord spoke something, when he gave you an instruction, that was final. That was it. You did exactly what the Lord said. We trembled at the word of the Lord. All right. So it says, verse 3, it says, "And the Lord said, Like as my servant Isaiah have walked naked and barefoot 3 years for a sign." So it was a sign. All right. That's the purpose. The purpose for him stripping naked was, it was like a portent, like a dire prophecy. All right. And then it further goes on to say, "And wonder upon Egypt and upon Ethiopia, Cush. So shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptians prisoners and the Ethiopians captives, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt." So it was going to represent how these two nations that Israel was actually going to try to seek to for protection against the Assyrians, the Lord was going to basically cause them to be subdued in battle, and they were going to be taken as prisoners, and they're going to be walking around, you know, barefoot, no clothes on, and ashamed. All right, and that Israel, because they actually was trying to seek to them and trust them, they were going to be put to shame. It says, "And they shall be afraid and ashamed of Ethiopia, their expectation, and of Egypt, their glory." Jake was always trying to go down to Egypt for help. It was always an infinity about Egypt. All right. And inhabitants of this isle shall say in that day, behold, such is our expectation, whether we flee for help to be delivered from the king of Assyria, and how shall we escape? All right. So after the military defeat, they they couldn't have it. Their expectation was put to shame. And the Egyptians and the Ethiopians, they were led captive and they were taken bare. So that's why the Lord had Isaiah do that. Okay. So let's go from there. Let's go to Ezekiel, because according to Tazaryach's logic, because Hosea, him taking a wife of whoredoms, that was just symbolic. That wasn't. It didn't happen. It was literal. It was all imaginary. So maybe this instruction the Lord gave Ezekiel was imaginary too, even though this was also symbolic. Ezekiel 5:1, and thou son of man, take thee a sharp knife, take thee a barber's razor, and cause it to pass upon thine head and upon thy beard. Then take thee balances to weigh and divide the hair. Thou shalt burn with fire a third part in the midst of the city when the days of the siege are fulfilled. And thou shalt take a third part and smite it with a knife, and a third part thou shalt scatter in the wind, and I will draw a sword after them. Now you can already tell by how the instructions that the Lord is giving him that this is foreshadowing what the Lord is going to do to Israel. But this is all an illustration by him literally doing it. The Lord giving him instruction to do it, and he's doing it. But this is an illustration of how the Lord is going to bring judgment to Israel. Come on, man. Thou shalt also take thereof a few in number and bind them in thy skirts. Then take of them again and cast them into the midst of the fire and burn them in the fire, for thereof shall a fire come forth into all the house of Israel. All right, and this is a representation of how the Lord's gonna smite them with plague, a third part with the plagues, then another part with famine, and then how he was gonna scatter them, drive them among the nations. That was all this was talking about. When you read this chapter, all right, they were gonna fall by the sword, they were gonna die of famine, plagues, and they were gonna get scattered, man. But apparently, this was all imaginary. It didn't really happen though. All right, it was just there was just a parable. And when you go even to the previous chapter, these were things that the Lord was telling Ezekiel to do, just to declare, Israel's judgment, man. That they're gonna get defiled bread. So what did the Lord do? He told them to eat eat your bread, prepare your lentils and your fitches and your beans and your wheat. All right, and basically you're gonna ration it. And then he said you're gonna eat it with human shit. Ezekiel 4 and verse 12, it says, and thou shalt eat it as barley cakes, and thou shalt bake it with dung that cometh out of man in their sight. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them. Then said I, Lord, power, behold, my soul have not been polluted. For from my mouth, from my youth up, even until now, have I not eaten of that which dieth of itself, or is torn in pieces, neither came there abominable flesh into my mouth. Then he said unto me, lo, I have given thee cow's dung for man's dung, and thou shalt prepare thy bread therewith. But according to Tazaryach, this is all in Ezekiel's mind. This didn't really happen. So you can apply that same logic, and you'll see that it doesn't line up. It doesn't make any sense, showing you that this guy has limited understanding, and really he's doing so because he really doesn't agree. He's ashamed to stand upon the truth. So hey, he got to deal with that. But the scriptures say what they say. If it was wrong for Hosea to actually deal with a harlot, the Lord would have never gave him that instruction. Matter of fact, let me get this in the Apocrypha. Let's go to Sirach, the 15th chapter. If it was an unlawful thing and we're not supposed to, deal with prostitutes or whatever, then the Lord would have never commanded Hosea to do that. Sirach 15 and verse 11, it says, "Say not thou, it is through the Lord that I fell away, for thou oughtest not to do the things that he hateth. Say not thou, he have caused me to err, for he have no need of the sinful man." All right, and notice Hosea didn't say that. He never said, "Lord, you causing me to err. Why are you telling me to get with a harlot, a prostitute, to go into her and have children?" He didn't say anything because the Lord isn't causing him to err. He didn't cause him to sin. He specifically told him, "Hey, go and get you a harlot, get you a hoe, because Israel's they're whores to me, both the north and the south." All right, and I'm going to illustrate that. Go on and deal with a harlot, because that's what I'm dealing with. And that's a whole nother lesson dealing with the prostitution thing and all that. And which it is a shameful thing because, a woman that's, when she's a prostitute, that mean, she was ousted, from her family. She probably, who knows? But her family, they usually a woman was a harlot if her family disowned her and she had to make her way in order to, sustain herself and live. So that's how it happened. It says, verse 13, "The Lord hateth all abomination, and they that fear the Most High love it not." Let me jump down to verse 20. It says, "He have commanded no man to do wickedly, neither have he given any man license to sin." All right, unless you're gonna accuse the Most High of causing Hosea to do wickedly and give him a license to sin. So, you stand to be corrected, Tazaryach. All right, and you've been deteriorating in the understanding of the scriptures, over these years, man. You waxing worse and worse. But I believe it's because y'all done sold out. That's what I really believe. But who knows, man? At the end of the day, the Most High he's gonna bring everything to the light. So anyway, with that, let me give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shai. To the next lesson, I say, Shalom.